Hey, good morning, welcome to the Toolshed. Hey, this one-of-a-kind, international Toolshed is brought to you by Schedule Engine. And hey, look, be good, do good. Want to make sure I get that in. And today's episode is sponsored by our good friends over at Emerson. We're happy that you joined us. We're going to get right into it. Brian, welcome back.
Hey, nice to see you.
Mr. Donovan.
Glad to be here.
Trainer of all trainers.
Oh, please.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, they say one hunter sees another one in the woods, so one trainer sees another one. Like, I love to talk to people about, like, they do the things I do. And we've always talked about the Toolshed as a place where you can come and learn how to make every job just a little bit easier. But we've also said, hey, I want to learn from you. And we love the comments and the engagement. We've learned a lot from Brian so far, and we want to continue to do that.
Super excited to be back.
Yeah, the Toolshed's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I could hang out here.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, like a place you just kind of hang out with your buddies. And hey, so today I want to talk about training. Like Thursdays are all about training. And we want to talk about how you use training as a recruiting tool, and the contractors that you work with on a daily basis, like how do they use it?
Yeah, you know, it's really become a responsibility of the company to build their own workforce, right? I mean, there's no secret pool of qualified technicians waiting for a job. They're not out there. So where do they come from? And it's really from development. You develop your own farm league. Now, you have to have that capability, right? Not everybody's a great trainer. I think you or Eddie said last week or the week before, like, the person that knows the most isn't always the best trainer.
Right.
Right. So you have to have that capability. And what that capability looks like, whatever that training program looks like, will allow you to really go out and hire the attitude and then train the aptitude.
Yeah, well, I love that. You know, you want to hire for character and train for skill, as they used to say, right?
Yeah.
And so I heard you say something last week when you were talking to Eddie, and I made a little note about it, and it was digital native. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to include myself into that, but tell us about digital natives.
When we think about who we're training, who we're looking to train, right? These technicians have grown up with a phone in their hand. They're digital native. Look, what we know is that they want to learn, they want instant feedback, right? They want to go out, they want to experience, they want feedback, and they want to experience again. They're used to that instant feedback, and that's really what helps them advance.
Is that the dopamine when you get the like?
Yeah,
and hey, by the way, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I need a little dopamine this morning. You can smash that subscribe button on YouTube, and you get, I've heard this, 7 years of good luck.
Well,
and
awesome.
So try that.
Yeah.
Hey, so I love that idea. Like, I remember being on vacation, and my daughter Lucy, who is also the technical artist for the Toolshed, she was probably about 4 years old. And we had an Airbnb, and we heard her from a distance yell out, "There's no Wi-Fi here." Like, it was an emergency on vacation, and she was like 3 years old. And so they've grown up in that and with that. And so if we're going to attract people into the trades and let them in on the secret, we have to make it so they can use that digital platform throughout their day. And like, it's not just a wrench and a pipe anymore, right?
Yeah. So, there's a story that I heard early on, and it was the owner of a small service company, I believe it was HVAC, and he was dying to expand, and he just couldn't because he couldn't find the right people that he wanted to expand with. He said, and I'm going to these job fairs at high schools, and I'm sitting at a table. And I'm sitting with a clipboard and write your name and email address and I'll email you and maybe you can come work for me. But I wasn't drawing any attention. And he said there's the technology companies that have tables up front that have crowds around. And then he said, I brought in virtual reality and immersive learning. And he said every digital company, every technologically, forward company couldn't compete with him. He was the one all of a sudden that had the group. So, he brought virtual reality training into this, and frankly, it's sexy. Like, people love that. People see an active learning environment, and they just want to be part of that.
I love that. And then they can get instant feedback with it as well, right? If we're using training as a recruiting tool, my friend Christian, thank you for sharing this with me, but we talk about a nursery of talent. And so let's unpack that for you for a minute. And so that's kind of like you're going to buy a plant for your yard. So you go to the nursery and say you're going to buy roses. And if you go and you want to pick out the very best plant, the very best roses at the nursery, and then you want to bring them back and you want to show your spouse, say, here's the one I picked out and here's the spot I'm going to put it in, and I'm going to fertilize it and I'm going to water it and I'm going to trim it, and I'm going to take, when friends come over, I'm going to share it with them. And that's what we do when we're hiring people and we're using training as a recruiting tool. We're saying, hey, if you come here, we're going to start you here, but we're going to fertilize you and we're going to water you and we're going to give you a really good soil. And if you keep packing up and moving from one company to another one, you don't plant any roots. And the key is to plant roots where you are. What is that saying? I had it and it went right away.
Hey, I tell you what, my father had a board in his office, and I remember this from when I was the smallest kid until I fully grew up. And amazingly, it tied right into your nursery anecdote. You know what it said?
I want to know.
It said, "Judge each day by the seeds you sow, not by the harvests you reap."
I love it. That's awesome.
And that's what training is. It's the seeds you sow.
Yeah, and if you use that when you're telling people, hey, come work for us, we're going to give you X amount of training per year. We're going to help you get NATE certified. We're going to help you get that master's plumber's license that takes a long time to get.
Yeah, I mean, it's a commitment. It's a lot of work. And it's gonna take a long time to get there. If you can foster that with good resources, the success rate is going to be far better than just throwing somebody out and saying, like, okay, here's your manual. Good luck. I'll catch you in 4 years. It's not the way it goes.
What I've really learned over the years is high performers, they crave training. You think like it's the low performers that we should train. It's the high performers that you should train. Those are the people that say, hey, I want to get better. And if you can share that message with people while you're recruiting, you can say, hey, come here and you can have a good long career with us. We're going to promote within. We're going to get you that next license. We're going to send you some training. You're going to do some training on your own. Right, but that's what we need, is a nursery of talent.
Yeah, I love that.
And trademark it.
Can I get a little piece of that action?
Christian probably wants a piece of it.
So I mean, it's all about that investment, right? Recruiting is only going to be helped by saying, hey, this is what it looks like to work for us. Look what we do here. Look at our training platform. Look at the advancement we can show you. Look at the career ladder. We can show you what your career looks like with your aspirations. Let's design it for you. And that's why we're a good place for you.
Hey, go back. I heard you talking to Eddie last week about training people how they want to be trained.
Right.
Let's talk about that one more minute.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're back to, and I say this a lot, digital first, right? The digital native, they want the training, and they crave the training, just like you said. But how do they want it? They don't want that 700-page manual.
Right.
They want active training. They want to experience it. They want instant feedback. They want to experience it, right? There's, the saying about tell me, show me, let me, right? Mm-hmm. You tell me and I'm going to forget. You show me and I'm going to remember. You let me and I'm going to understand, right? What we are trying to do and I think where the training industry as a whole is going is forgetting the tell me part, right? That doesn't work.
I was really good at that when I first started.
Yeah, but now what if we take show me and let me and we blend them together?
Man.
I'm going to remember and I'm going to understand. I talk about training outcomes. Let's leverage the technology to be able to provide the best training outcomes.
Man, I love that. When I first started, and there's probably 100 people watching the show today from all over the place, that they'll say, oh yeah, that's a fact. And when Jerry first started training, he would just get up in front of the room and talk for about an hour. And I thought that's what training was. And then I found out from some good friends of the Toolshed, hey, you can facilitate the training and tell them how to do the exercise and let them do the exercise. And that worked so much better. But then when I started taking like, hey, here's a good tech that knows a lot about selling memberships. And here's a good tech that is really good at getting reviews. And here's a good technician that's really good at turning leads over to sales. And I let those people teach the class, and it was techs teaching techs. That's when I became really, really smart, I guess, because that's when performance changed.
Hey, look, what you just kind of defined for me is what in my organization we refer to as commercial learning. It's a blended word of collaboration and immersion. And what it does is that learning conversation, whether it be internal or external to the training itself, as soon as you bring in an emotional and a social aspect to training, what you're doing is multiplying that conversation for developing better techs. So the more social the environment, the better the training's going to be. I mean, so there's a lot of ways to foster that collaboration as well.
Yeah, I love that. And I make up words from time to time, 2 words.
Right.
Eddie tells me that's not a word, and I just go with it. Hey, hey, what we found out was when you let techs teach other techs, you find a guy that really likes doing that. Like, he prepared for it. He made notes about it. He printed off some pictures of a diagram, and he's going to share that with the group. And then the other guys will be like, yeah, I don't know what to talk about. And I'm going to call in sick that day that I'm supposed to do the training. But what you do is you identify people that can possibly get into a training organization or a training role with the company. And so always good stuff on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping
All right.
by.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, we appreciate you stopping by. We've got thousands and thousands of people just like you watching the Toolshed every day. We're thankful that Schedule Engine is allowing us to do this. Emerson, our good friends, they sponsored this episode, and we're thankful for that too. And hey, have a great day. Be good so you can do good in your community. Go out there and have a big, big, big day. Thanks for stopping by the Toolshed.